Thank you. Good afternoon. I would like to share two stories that, out of the many years of my work, they are among the many that have shown me that, yes, peace is possible. I'll take you to 1998, 24 years ago. I was a freshman at the university. I know you're starting to guess my age. I joined the university immediately, it was in the immediate aftermath of the genocide against the Tutsi in Rwanda. I'll try to describe the population we had in college. At that time, we had youth who were in different, had different backgrounds. There was those like me whose parents had just returned from exile. My parents had gone to exile in the early 60s. There were other youth like me who had lived in Uganda, in Kenya and Tanzania. You had youth who had lived in Rwanda, and among them were genocide survivors. Others were maybe from families that had perpetrated genocide. Actually, we did have some of them that later faced justice because themselves, they had personally participated in the genocide. We had different camps. I just described exile Rwandese, those who lived in Rwanda, but also different backgrounds. We had camps of languages, Francophone, Anglophone. But the biggest part of the problems that we had in terms of the topic of today, whether peace is possible or not, the university at the time did not have enough resources to offer each of us individual accommodation. All those camps, we had to share dormitories. Personally, I stayed in a dormitory that had maybe 25, 30 students. And the university made sure that if you are 30, you had to be representative of all the camps that I just described. They made sure that no single people from the same background would not share the same dormitory. We had to share. And there was a list. If I told you that we took turns to sleep because we weren't sure if, for example, among us, there could be the youth, our peers, that might have participated in the genocide and maybe will come for us at night, we would take turns to sleep. At that time, electricity in Rwanda was still quite a problem. There were blackouts. Every time there was a blackout, we would all run out of the dormitory. And we start whispering, where are they? Because we were scared. The mistrust, the fear, the trauma. Fast forward to today. When I look back at the group of my colleagues that I was with at the university, we have formed among ourselves the unbreakable friendships. Some of the closest friends I have, some of the closest colleagues I have, some of the closest colleagues that I see in all sectors, in government, in private sector, in civil society, they come from that background. If you met us, you wouldn't know we ever had that kind of fear. And for me, that has convinced me that if each of us can try to give the other benefit of doubt, if we can try to get rid of the prejudice, if we can go beyond our fear of the other, we can make peace. The second and last story is a bit more recent. In 2022, in my line of work, I was in a meeting, in a stakeholder meeting in the eastern Rwanda, in a district called Bugesera. We were talking about societal healing approaches. We were discussing with civil society. When we went for a coffee break, a woman in her 70s approached me because I was leading the meeting. She came to me and said, Mwana wanje in Kinyarwanda is like my child. What you're trying to do is extremely important. She told me her story. In 1994, her immediate neighbors killed her husband and her 3 children. In 1996, they went through the court system, they were convicted, and they went to prison. But they left young children next to this mother whose family had been wiped out. She told me how she contemplated for many years, should she revenge through the children. What turned out instead was the exact opposite. At that meeting, she had come with a young girl, a grandchild of the ones that had killed her family. And she was telling me, this is my granddaughter. Because what happened, when she saw the children of the perpetrators suffering, she took initiative and went to the local government to advocate for those children to be assisted, to be given an opportunity to go to school, to access health care. She even started visiting people that had killed her family in prison. And she was telling me, please, try and make these stories. Try and convince all the mothers who lost children to find children in those that don't have parents who are in prison. If that woman can make peace, if she can hold that child as a grandchild, I think peace is possible. Thank you.